Today's guest is a big one. We have the NFL RedZone host, Scott Hanson, has joined the program. We talked about the behind the scenes work of what it's like to put RedZone together on Sundays. He's been doing it for 12 seasons. He's also went to the bathroom one time. We'll talk about that story, which is absolutely crazy to begin with. And we talk about how important the show actually is when it comes to TV history. With all the television shows in sports and in pop culture media, where does this one rank amongst those? And to be honest with you guys, it could be like in the top 10. Pretty remarkable stuff. And we also break down the Super Bowl coming up on February 7th between the Bucs and the Chiefs. We break down everything that has to go on in that game. Sit back, relax. We're talking a ton of football. Let's get started. Today's guest, we have a big one here. It is the NFL RedZone host, Scott Hanson. Scott, what's up, man?
Taylor, good to be with you, man. Talking a little football here as we approach the big game.
The big game. Absolutely. The big game. So weird how we have to say that. Or I will say Super Bowl too. Whatever.
I'm going to say Super Bowl if you say Super Bowl.
Let's go. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
And so your background, you've been working at NFL Network for quite some time now. You started the NFL RedZone in 2009, the fall of 2009. You have to tell me that boardroom discussion where you're talking with the executives, the producers, the directors, the writers that are going and they're involved in the show. How did you guys first get the okay to do this? And also were you kind of worried on how the show would run since it's 7 hours of commercial free football?
Yeah. Well, two things about the background of it. Our friends over at DirecTV were doing a similar show called the RedZone channel, and they had already started it. It's like, okay, well, the red zone's inside the 20-yard line. We could just, bounce around from game to game. So we had a little bit of an idea, like a little template as to how to do something where you weren't watching one game. You were watching all 9, 10 games simultaneously. Sure. And then in terms of permission, we're the NFL. So we are when we say NFL RedZone, it is the NFL. It's not somebody paid us we paid the NFL. We are the NFL.
We got dibs, basically.
We got dibs, and we try and deliver our product to the level of excellence that pro football fans demand and should desire to see. So was I worried about how we would do it? I was worried about if we could do it justice, because I wasn't worried it was going to be a success, because as soon as we got the idea and we're like, okay, here's what we endeavor to do. We're going to show every touchdown from every game. We're going to bounce around from game to game to game. We're going to show all the best parts of every game, and we're going to do it live, and we're going to do it, just fly by the seat. I'm like, I would watch that show. So
right.
If we could produce it well, and I can host it well, this thing's going to be a massive success. Now, I was like, well, what is it like when there are 8 games simultaneously under the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter, and 5 of them are one-possession games? What would it be like to produce that live? To take all those pieces like Tetris falling from the sky and trying to fit them into the right exact slot in that moment, and there's no second chances, right? And like any good team, we're a team at NFL RedZone. Like any good team, we started off, we went on guts and guile and enthusiasm. We're all NFL fans ourselves. We tried to produce it the way we would want to watch it. And then we have gotten better year by year. We've tried to get better year by year and slicker, so that if you watch a highlight show at midnight on Sunday night, after all the games are put to bed, right, and they've had hours to edit their show, to pick out everything, you're not going to see something, or it's rare that you're going to see something on that show that's had hours to think about it that you didn't see live or seconds after the fact on NFL Red Zone. And I think that's a huge credit to the way we go about trying to produce the show.
When that first show was done, that very first one, I'm sure there's a lot of sigh of relief. There was the like, okay, we got through the first one. Did you think that you were going to be making TV history? Because there's been nothing like that. I know DirecTV had their own, but under the NFL media umbrella.
Yeah. That's a good question. I'm going to answer it truthfully, and you might not believe me, but when I went on the first episode, when we were going live, you said at the end of the episode, but at the very beginning of the first episode, okay, I came on camera the first time, and I remember thinking in the days and weeks leading into that first episode, Hanson, whatever you say on this very first time that this audience sees your face and hears your voice, don't screw it up. Because if you screw it up, it's going to live forever. Like there was a guy, George LeGrand, was one of the first Sports Center anchors, and he came when ESPN does their Sports Center's 30th anniversary and all of that. They play the original clip of the very first Sports Center, and I was picturing that because I thought this was going to be a galactic success.
Really?
And whatever I say is going to live in perpetuity. And if I flub a word or mess up or just freeze or whatever, it's going to be a huge embarrassment. But I got through that opening on camera, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NFL Red Zone. Welcome to the channel that we hope will change the way change the way you watch football forever.
Dude.
And there, I just flubbed it right there, but it doesn't matter so much because it's already in the history books. But
right.
That may have seemed like hyperbole at the time. There's not a week that goes by that I haven't heard from fans that say NFL Red Zone's changed the way I watch football.
Absolutely. Look, I'm a Giant fan. I live in New York. You know that they have it on Fox. You always get to watch the home Giant games. I don't watch football like that anymore. I just don't. Honestly, there's no point to just watch the one Giant game when I can watch every single one. And I'm a baseball fan at heart. That's my favorite sport. Played my whole life, played in college. But when I can watch on Sundays, I remember in college, we had the apartment, we get the Red Zone up, and we sit our ass on the chair, and we don't leave for 7 hours. The food's already there. We got the wings, the beer's there, and I'm just not moving. Yep. It is probably one of the single greatest inventions in TV history because
Taylor, confess right now, bathroom breaks or no?
Oh, I was about to get into that. Of course I had bathroom breaks. When you break the seal after a couple
you were just talking like, oh yeah, I got my wings, I got my beer, I got my thing. And I don't move. I don't miss a touchdown.
Well, I know you don't move.
Now the confession comes out.
I know. All right. You know what? Good question. I mean, you do ask the questions for a living, so you're good at that.
Yeah.
No, but it has changed history.
Yeah.
In the sense where you get all the content you want.
Yeah.
In one channel. And
well, I'll tell you a little story. Our original producer, the original guy that was in my ear, a guy by the name of Kent Camara, tremendous television professional. He's over at Fox Sports now, but Kent, he left NFL Red Zone to take the job at Fox. And I was really sad when he left, but he made his decision for his family and whatnot. And the executive producer, so the higher up boss at NFL Network, when Kent was leaving, like literally on his last day going out the door, he looked at him and he said, and this was not a guy who was prone to compliments or overstating things. And this executive producer looked at Kent and said, you know, you guys changed sports television.
That's sick, dude. Oh my God.
And he admitted it. And this is not a guy who would even say good job to me after a show, right? Like kind of, crusty, hardened TV veteran,
right?
Everything like that. And yet he admitted to Kent, you guys, when he was saying goodbye to Kent, you guys changed sports television. And there's very few that could say that. Sports Center's on that list.
Yeah.
There's probably a few other shows, but yeah. And then at the end of the first season, I don't know if you knew this one or not, at the end of the first season of NFL Red Zone, which was 2009, okay, everyone was doing their end of the decade lists because, we had just finished the 2000s. And Sports Illustrated did an episode on sports media, or did an issue on sports media, and they named the top 10 greatest inventions of the last decade. And they put NFL RedZone on the list. We had only existed for 1 year of the decade. And they were already like, I've seen enough. It's one of the greatest inventions in the history of sports television.
That's sick. And you've talked about that first season, but now you are 12 seasons deep. I had the list here you posted on your Instagram before. You have 10,000 touchdowns you called. You've called over 10,000 plus, 13,000 plus hours of commercial-free football, 200 plus episodes, 12 seasons, and 1 bathroom break. Well, why? You have to tell me, you have to tell me about the bathroom break thing. I know there's so much you can say about it, but you have all these amazing accolades and then freaking 1 bathroom break.
Okay. Well, and then that one was,
how the hell are you?
Was an anomaly. And here's the story.
Go.
And this might sound ridiculous, but it's totally true. I was playing hurt that day. It was a late week. It was in the month of December, if I remember correctly. So it was the last month of the season. Sure. The reason I remember it was December is because I had gone during the week. I took a day off and I went skiing. I live in Los Angeles, but you can go skiing outside of LA, just driving a few hours to the mountains. So I went skiing with some buddies. I hit a patch of rock beneath the snow. My ski stuck. I flipped and I jabbed my elbow into my ribs.
Oh, geez.
I thought I broke my ribs. And this was on Wednesday of that week. So I was having trouble sleeping. Sunday morning, I was like, well, whatever, Hanson, you got to be good to go for Sunday because that's game day. So I got up and I overdrank and I overate, trying to get my body I broke my routine. I drank more liquids than I normally did, and I was playing hurt. There were times, you probably couldn't tell in the episode, but there were times when I would throw out to the game and the play-by-play guy was doing the job, I was bending over in the studio like this, trying to catch my breath and stuff. And I'm not trying to act like a hero, but I literally thought my rib was broken. And then in the late window, I told my producer, I said, "You're not going to believe this." And he goes, "What?" And he's looking at the games thinking was there a 99-yard touchdown that I didn't see or something like that? I go, "I got to go to the bathroom." And I hear the whole control room go, "Oh," like that. They couldn't believe it. So they're like, "Okay, we'll go to this Patriots drive and hopefully they get a few first downs so you can go take 2 minutes, go do your thing." So I go down the hallway, come back. I, get stuff back on and I'm rocking and rolling again. The audience probably could have never told, but I sent out a tweet. I said, I just took my first bathroom break in 7 years, whatever it was. And it was my most liked tweet, my most favorited tweet, my most commented on tweet. It went viral to the point where the next day, pardon the interruption, PTI with Kornheiser and Wilbon, they, how they start their show. Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon, Tony, da-da-da-da-da. They started their show the next day with, pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon, Tony, your boy Scott Hanson from NFL RedZone took his first bathroom break. And then Kornheiser goes, I'm Tony Kornheiser, amateur. You got to keep a lemonade jug underneath the desk or something. And that was their opening joke. But I mean, that's how fascinated everyone is with my bladder integrity. That it gets on talk shows and stuff like that. So
people will talk about that forever.
By the way, I went to the emergency room that night. A lot of people don't. I went to the emergency room to get x-rays. My ribs were not broken, but the doctor told me that I had there was some kind of membrane or something in there that I had damaged. I had either perforated it or whatever. So it was a legit injury and I had to rest up, but I played hurt and I got caught.
I think what we can put on your list of your resume is that you are the Cal Ripken of broadcasters.
I mean, I don't want to go so far as to say,
hey,
that, but
I take it.
Iron Man streak. Hey, Brett Favre did it with all those years. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Last one, and then we'll go to the Super Bowl talk here. Is there a rivalry between you and Siciliano at all?
No. So for those who don't know, Andrew Siciliano is the expert host of the RedZone channel, which is over on DirecTV. And no, in fact, I consider us friends. I think he's a great broadcaster. He's got a big football brain. He loves the sport. We both went to Syracuse. So no rivalry. I look at it this way. It's not like you've got your remote control and you're just going, okay, Siciliano Hanson. It's like choosing between a restaurant one's in New York and one's in New Jersey. Well, where are you already? You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's not like you're choosing between two restaurants right next to each other. And you're like, you're going to go in door A or door B. So no rivalry. No rivalry.
Got it.
Not from my standpoint.
I'm Team Hanson since day one. Just letting you know, Team Hanson. All right, so Super Bowl. This is one of the more intriguing ones because you have two of the best quarterbacks in the league. Tom Brady definitely has digressed. It's still amazing, but his 10th Super Bowl. You have Mahomes' second straight. You were there covering last one. Are we going to be seeing a passing of the torch from the GOAT to like maybe the baby GOAT?
Well, some have come up with the GOAT and the kid. That's a good little play on words. I think the torch is probably already passed. I think it's pretty clear that Patrick Mahomes is the best young quarterback in the game, right? Lamar Jackson won the MVP last year. Aaron Rodgers is going to win it this year, but he's not a young quarterback. Mahomes plays a different sport. And so I don't think it depends. I don't think it matters as to what happens in this Super Bowl. I think it's pretty clear that Mahomes is the best going right now. But I'll tell you this, Tom Brady, just when you thought 40-year-old Michael Jordan couldn't do it, Jordan went and dropped a double nickel against the Knicks in the Garden, when you thought Tiger Woods was washed up and his back was fused together like a ramrod and he could do it, he put on another green jacket. So you want to go ahead and bet against Tom Brady? Go ahead. You won't see me doing it.
I've done it too many times. I even thought Bills Packers Super Bowl. That was my Super Bowl prediction. I thought the Bills seriously can get it done. And
I thought the Bills had a better shot at beating the Chiefs than the Packers or than the Bucks did at winning in Lambeau. But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, McDermott even said we have a lot to improve. We have need to fix a lot. But with the issue with Eric Fisher, he's done for the year with a torn Achilles, and he's a two-time Pro Bowl tackle, one of the best in the league. How bad is that for the rest of the offensive line and the Chiefs overall?
Pair that with what we saw the Bucks front four do in Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, man.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't see ghosts. They had Aaron Rodgers seeing ghosts. In fact, I think on that third down, when he didn't run for the touchdown or run for the goal line, at least, I'm not so sure he would have scored, but he would have gotten inside the 5, I'm pretty sure.
He had enough room.
I think he didn't run. I think he ran, or I think he threw, because I think he thought he was going to get caught from behind, because he had been caught from behind and he had been hit so many times in that game. I think it was 5 sacks that the Bucks had. So Fisher's injury paired with the way that the Bucks front four and pass rush is coming these days, that's going to be a factor come Sunday.
It's incredible because it was so sad to see Fisher's reaction because he knew it, right? He wasn't crying. He was down in the dumps, but he knew. And then you had Andy Reid and the rest of his teammates pat him on the back. That's got to be the worst feeling in the world because you're one game away.
Yeah, one game away, and he knew it was season ending. I mean, which is only one game. But when you suffer a season ending injury, that means his training camp could be compromised. His next year could be compromised. It's a crushing thing. And then to know you're not going to play in the biggest game in American sport it's got to be terrible. So
in a torn Achilles,
I know you have your Instagram. You have your Instagram thing we got to do, right?
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
I do have one more appointment to get to. So if you want to,
we'll do that. Yes. All right. So are you doing this on your phone or are you doing this on like your laptop?
I'm on a laptop right now.
Okay. If you can pull up your phone, I'll DM you the video or photo so you can get your reaction to this.
Oh boy. Okay. Hold on. So I'm going on my Instagram right now.
Yeah. And you'll see my DM pop up. So the first one, so just make sure here, this is a fan favorite. Does
the audience get to see this part of the show?
Oh, when I do my social clips, I infuse the B-roll here, so they'll be able to see it. So the first one you'll see, you post this on October 27th, 2019. So my name, you'll see Taylor_Ringle there.
Okay, hold on, because I actually don't look at my DMs very much because I get way too many like unsolicited DMs. But hold on, so all requests.
You'll see Taylor
Okay, here we are,
underscore.
Taylor. Okay.
October 27th, 2019. This is the first ever, I would assume it's the first ever people have seen behind the scenes of how Red Zone is put together. I know a little bit about production. I had no idea it was this detailed. The guys with the screens and your writers are all right there.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
so
incredible.
this was probably one of the most comprehensive behind the scenes look that anybody's ever shown the audience
Sure.
of NFL Red Zone. And I recommend, if you can put the link on, I recommend people taking a look at it. If they're big NFL Red Zone fans, they'll find something in there that's interesting, because I think a few things popped up. One, how condensed our set is. And this was shot before the pandemic. We had to spread out during the pandemic, but how bunched up we are, because we're like a football team. It's quick communication, and it's some of it's nonverbal, some of it's whatever. The other thing is, I'm as excited about football off the screen as I am when you hear my voice and see my face. I legitimately love the game, and I don't have a favorite NFL team. I want drama. I want action. I want jaw-dropping moments for 7 straight hours. And you get to see a little of that behind the scenes in this video.
It's incredible. I mean, there's so much detail, so much intensity with it. The second video I'm going to send you right now, you posted.
And by the way, so we got to do these kind of quick, because I did tell these guys I was going to be on.
Sure. This will be the last one. This will be the last one.
I don't mean to rush you, but I'm just trying to be fair with everybody.
Of course. Yeah, of course. The last one here, February 5th, 2020. This video you posted, Patrick Mahomes is doing a little photo bomb with you. You're doing your on-site, you're on the field for the Super Bowl last year. First of all, how nerve-wracking is that to do that in front of a packed house? And then you have the crowd going nuts and you don't know why. And you see it's Pat Mahomes running behind you.
Yep. So one of the great jobs that I get to do besides NFL Red Zone is the NFL has asked me to be the host of the Super Bowl. Not the host of the television show, the Super Bowl, but the host of the Super Bowl, meaning the 70,000 people in a non-pandemic year, the 70, 80,000 people that have seats in the stadium on game day. I'm the host of that show. So when you're watching the Super Bowl at home and there's all the commercials and everybody's tweeting and texting about, oh, that was a hilarious commercial and stuff like that. Well, the stadium would be sitting dead, right? The stadium's not watching commercials usually. So they have me put on a show, and I'll pop up on the big screen and entertain the crowd with either guests or facts or highlights or whatever is going on in the stadium, to kind of make it a celebration of, hey, we are the privileged 70,000 that get to be in the stadium. Well, that clip that you pulled up from Instagram, I was doing the pregame show during warmups, and it was the last warmup where the team was going into the locker room, and the next time they were coming out, we were kicking off, and Mahomes runs right by me, basically photobombs me, and he's going like this to get the crowd fired up and everything. And I'm like, okay, someone's yelling about something, whatever. And I just roll with it, because part of my game as a sportscaster is energy, the electricity, the big feel of the sport that we love so much. Well, there's no bigger game for us than the Super Bowl. There's no bigger game in American sports. There's no bigger event in United States entertainment. So to be there and be on the sidelines and be able to talk to all those people and feel that energy and feed off of it, I love it. Nothing will faze me. I can get hit with a football on the side of the head. I'm going to keep rolling with it. We're going to have a fun time. Although this year it's going to be less than 25,000 people in the stands with social distancing.
Right.
And there's going to be a lot of different aspects to it. One great thing is the NFL has gifted 7,500 seats, right? Almost 8,000 people are going to get to go to the Super Bowl for free, and they're all healthcare workers.
Amazing.
That have been on the front lines battling COVID for the last 10, 11 months. And I think that's an awesome thing by the NFL to do that for their fans.
It's great. It's great. And that story is perfect way to end. Scott Hanson, you're the man. I appreciate you coming on. You're always welcome. I would love to have you on again if we have maybe a little more time. But Scott, have a good time. I'll be watching. And thank you again.
Taylor, appreciate it. Thanks so much. And we'll see you again in September for the Octobox and the Witching Hour, all wrapped up in 7 hours of commercial-free football.
Woo!
See ya.
Hold on. I know you just watched that video. It's pretty good because you watched the whole thing. You made it this far. Just click that subscribe button. It's not that hard. I know you watched some other things, but was it as good as this? I don't think so, since you watched the whole thing. You enjoyed it. I know you did. You're nodding your head right now, and it's like, yeah, I enjoyed it, Taylor. I like it. I want to watch more. Click the button.